Okay, this is going to be one of the weirder kind of videos that I'm going to make, but before we get things underway, I want a big shout out for the Discord server, LegoRocks99's Discord. As I said previously, one of you decided to make one of these for me because I don't know anything about running a Discord, so I'm very happy that I have people who are willing to do that for me. So click the link in the description below to check out our Discord server, and let's actually proceed with the video here. So, I was thinking about this the other day, just going over in my head saying, okay, you know, the 2020 draft in the NHL is so good, and it's so much deeper than the 2019 draft. But I really want to make a video articulating just how, to me at least, that is. So, this is that video here. In this video, we're going to be going over the 2020 NHL draft and articulating just why, in my opinion, it's much deeper than the 2019 draft. We're going to be doing this through the form of a draft rankings. But this ranking, it's gonna be kind of weird. You've seen a ton of draft rankings in the past, but none like this. This is going to be a combination of two sets of 15. What I did was I went over onto futureconsiderations.com and I checked out their final 2019 NHL draft rankings. I took the top 15 players from this list and I stored them. Then I went over into the 2020 draft on Future Considerations and I took the top 15 from that pool of players as well. The first 15 from 2019 and the first 15 from 2020, I will be ranking these players in my own little draft rankings, so to speak, to articulate just how deep the 2020 draft is in comparison to 2019. Now, I will say that this method, it's not perfect. There are guys outside the top 15 on both of these Future Considerations lists that for sure could be dubbed as better than not being on the list entirely. And sure, this little thing that I'm doing here doesn't necessarily articulate how deep 2020 is overall, because there are some guys even past Future Considerations top 15 in 2020 that could definitely vie for a spot in this top 30. So let's go over the two lists. In 2019, Future Considerations has Hughes, Kakko, Byram, Podkolzin, Turcotte, Krebs, Dach, Zegras, Boldy, Cozens, Soderstrom, Caufield, Newhook, Suzuki, and Cam York. Going over into 2020, they have Lafreniere, Byfield, Raymond, Lundell, Holtz, Stützle, Gunler, Perfetti, Baron, Drysdale, Holloway, Peterson, Askarov, Lapierre, and Marco Rossi. So we'll take these 30 NHL players, or NHL prospects I should say, and I will be ranking them based on my personal opinion. So let's go over the draft rankings, and we're going to do this 1 through 30, because that way it actually builds the suspense up a little bit more, and I think it kind of clearly articulates that some of these players are better than others, and I think it does that more effectively than going reverse 30 to 1. Starting out with number 1, the best player out of this group of 30, Alexis Lafreniere. If you've seen my 2019 generational franchise video, you would have seen that I had Lafreniere as probably like second to 4th or 5th, the best player out of these drafts from 2015 up until like 2022 or something. So Lafreniere is number 1 here. Second overall, I have Jack Hughes, because Hughes is very, very good. Third overall, I have Quinton Byfield, and if you've been watching the videos, you kind of know that the guy who would come after Byfield is Kaapo Kakko. So this is my top 4. This is how I see it going out in terms of potential and overall ceiling. I see Lafreniere, Hughes, Byfield, and Kakko, but again, if you've seen my franchise generational video, you know that Lafreniere is in a tier of his own, but I think that Hughes, Kakko, and Byfield are all kind of in their own tier as well. So, this is where things get interesting for this little list here. For number 5, I have Lucas Raymond. Number 6, I have Anton Lundell. 7 is Alexander Holtz, and 8 is Bowen Byram. So just right off the bat, in the top 8, we have 5 2020 players and 3 2019 players. You could make an argument that Lundell is better than Kaapo Kakko and is overall second overall in terms of 2020 in its entirety, but to me, Anton Lundell and the way he plays, he's a more consistent game throughout, and I think guys like Byfield, Raymond, and Kakko have higher ceilings offensively than Lundell, but the fact of the matter is you can definitely make an argument that Lundell should be higher, but in my own personal list, this is where Lundell lies. However, let's proceed forward. Going over to 9th overall, Noel Gunler. 10th overall is Cole Perfetti, and 11th overall is Yaroslav Askarov, who is no tradition. He's not a traditional goaltender. Yeah, he's a goaltender, and he's in this spot right here. He's so good. He is crazy, crazy good. Literally the best goaltender prospect we've seen in a very, very, very long time. Potentially even since Marc-Andre Fleury, because he went first overall, and Askarov is in a position where people are legitimately saying he could challenge for a top 5 spot, which as a goaltender in today's NHL Entry Draft is insane. But if you've seen this guy play specifically at the Hlinka, you know that the hype is real, and the hype is there for a reason. He's that good. But just going over the things that we have laid out on the board so far, we've done 11 prospects, only 3 are from 2019. This is how I have it laid out, and I think this is starting to give a rough idea as to how good 2020 is as a draft. Going over 12, 13, 14, Turcotte, Zegras, Caufield, a trio of 2019 US NTDP players, and going over into the next 4. 15, we have Hendrix Lapierre. 16, Jamie Drysdale. 17, Marco Rossi. And 18, Tim Stützle. So, here we go again. Top 18. So far, only 6 have been 2019 draft-eligible players, and 2020 just has a whole bunch of talent on the board here. 19th overall, I have Kirby Dach. 20th overall, I have Justin Barron, who is a defenseman. Him and Drysdale are 2 very good defensemen. I do think Byram is better, but just based off of how everything is played out here, I do believe that these 2 are headlining a class of really good defensemen that overall overtakes what we had in 2019. 21, Peyton Krebs. 22, Alex Newhook. 23, we have ourselves Dylan Holloway, who is going to be playing at the University of Wisconsin with Turcotte and with Caufield. He was so good for the Okotoks Oilers back in the AJHL that he's going to have a tremendous college freshman year. Moving forward throughout the draft list here, 24, Podkolzin, 25, Boldy, 26, Cozens, 27, York, and 28, we have ourselves the last player from 2020 for future considerations on their list. We have Dylan Peterson, who is a big US NTDP center who's going to be pretty good as well. Afterwards, we have ourselves Ryan Suzuki and Victor Soderstrom. So just taking a look at it right here, 15 2019 players, 15 2020 players, and this draft ranking kind of illustrates how I believe 2020 is deeper. As I said at the beginning, there are guys on future considerations top 20, top 30 for 2020 who could easily be better players than Suzuki, than Soderstrom, or who could challenge in a spot higher on this list. Because for me personally, if I had other 2020 players on this list, Peterson would probably be a little bit lower, but I do understand that this is just a small sample size from future considerations, and if you're wondering why I used future considerations instead of some of the other ones, it's because I mostly agree with the majority of what FC puts out on their rankings, and they are the most publicly available as it's all on their website. So very big shout out to future considerations for having their lists public. So I took it, spread it out, and let's actually go into a little bit of a dissection here. To me, I think this makes a lot of sense. You're taking a look at it right now, you can see the color coding on 2019 and 2020. There's a lot of 2020 on the first half of this little mock thing that I did. But going forward into the rest of 2020, people have been saying things like, hey, there's top 10 talent available in the top 20 of this draft. Hey, there's first round talent available in the mid-second round of this draft. Hey, there's top 5 talent in the top 10 of this draft. And that's kind of the image I'm trying to paint in your minds here. That the players in 2020 are so good that if you put them in any other drafts prior to 2019, 2018, 2017, you put them in these drafts, they'd be much highly touted players than where they are now. Cole Perfetti is somebody who could very well go top 8, top 7, top 6 in 2020, but if he was drafted in 2019, he could have easily gone 4th overall. If he was drafted in 2018, he could have gone 3rd overall. This is the kind of draft that we have here, and I think it's just so spectacular that it's this deep. 2002 boys are a really good class of hockey players, let me tell you right here. Hope you enjoyed this quick little video, Social 99, and bye.